to 23rd, 2007, to present a prayer on behalf of Hinduism for the departed souls in the tragedy of September 11, 2001. In July 2007, he was in Seoul to act as religious advisor from Hinduism for a inter-religious culture festival. Swamiji participated in 4th World Parliament of Religions in Barcelona and spoke on the subject India's educational initiatives. He has addressed in Geneva and Turin universities of Italy. Swamiji is the leading force behind ashramas in Dharwad, Hubli, Ranebenner, Gulbarga, Bidar, Gadag, Shimoga and Chitradurga in Karnataka, India. Swamiji runs a school for rural destitute children in Mangoli, Bijapur district. This school has secured 2nd place in national yoga competition held in Jabalpur and has 100% result in SSLC. Children of Kargil martyrs are given free education in this school. He is a guest speaker under Indira Gandhi National Open University to talk on FM radio about the Indian education system. He is a regular speaker in Chandana and ETV channels. He runs a bi-monthly magazine, Viveka Deepthi, in Kannada, which has a sizable circulation. His speeches on the subject Bhavya Jivana Parichaya is available in MP3 forum. So today we will have first bhajan, followed by the talk from Swamiji, and after that we will have a Q&A session. So we'll be circulating paper. So we will not be we will first go through the questions that come through the paper, and it will be addressed in random order. So if it may not be possible to answer all the questions due to the time limitation, therefore kindly request to put your name and email address if possible in the chat, so that if we can't, if there's no time to answer it, so at least you can get back over email. Okay. So now I request Swamiji to have.
You know, it is customary in India that all occasions will have an auspicious commencement. When I say an auspicious commencement, it literally means we invoke the grace of the Supreme Power, the runner of the whole universe, for His grace, for proper and meaningful conclusion of this program. A proper conduct, and proper conclusion of this program. Normally, the programs will commence with Vedic chanting and a little of bhajans, both together lasting for about maximum 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And later, the subject proper will be entered into to be dealt with by me. I will commence today's program with a chant of Narayana Sutram. It's an extract from Mahanarayana Upanishad, one of the Upanishads. Upanishads need not be introduced to you. They are the essence of Vedas. Vedas constituting the philosophical basis for Hindu culture and all spirituality connected with Hinduism. The whole spiritual force connected with Hinduism has got the sanction and validation from the Vedas, which are beginningless and obviously endless too. Vivekananda says, Vedas do not mean a book. They are the laws according to which the universe is being governed. The Creator, before He created, envisaged a plan as to how things must be done. It is put in the Vedas themselves. So kamayata bahusyam praja yejeti sa yeksham chakre. He wanted to resolve himself into multiplicity. Earlier he was one. He wanted to divide himself into a multiplicity. So kamayata. He developed a desire. For that, he looked around and envisaged a plan. That plan contains so many things, and all those things constitute Vedas. But these Vedas, in the form of laws that govern the universe, are not right now available in all their totality. The rishis, people with highest purity of mind that have appeared on the Indian spiritual scenery, have been able to discover from time to time one or two laws. And a collection of all these laws are recorded. They have discovered so many laws, and I personally opine that there are still so many laws left behind undiscovered. Because Vivekananda has once said that the last page of the Vedas has not been written yet. As and when a rishi comes and will be able to find out, discover one law by virtue of his tapasya, the penance, one more page will be added to the Vedas. Like that, they may go on growing. Vedas may go on having additions for their volume. It is just a brief introduction. Whatever it is, Vedas are universal laws, never bound by time, never bound by space. If you look into the details of the Vedas, you will come to understand how even modern scientific discoveries seem to be echoes of these grand truths. It is a different subject altogether. I do not want to dwell upon that detail. This is Vedas. If anybody is interested to know about that, then email is there, classes will be conducted, periodical lectures will be there given in this Bay Area. All those details you will come to know from Mr. Pradeep Simha, with whom I have been staying ever since I have come to this place from India. So now, let me give a chant about this beautiful Narayana Sukta. Om Ganana Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavedam Pavashravasthamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspada Adashrunvannoti Vissedasadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Dhiruvaje Devati Dhinama Vipravat Ano Divo Bruhata Parvatada Saraswati Yajatagantu Yajnam Vagdevyai Namaha. Initial invocation to Ganapati and Saraswati. You know the significance of this. Anything must commence with an invocation to Ganapati, and because today's program is something connected with the intellectuality, we have to pray to Saraswati, the goddess of intellect. Now, Narayana Sukta. Sahasrashirusham Devam Vishvaksham Vishvashambhuvam Vishvam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishvadah Paraman Nityam Vishvam Narayanagum Harim Vishvamevedam Purushastad Vishvamupajevati Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashvatagum Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahagneyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam Narayana Paro Jyotiratma Narayana Paraha Narayana Param Brahmadattvan Narayana Paraha Narayana Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमौजजं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशकं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधोदिष्ट्यापि तस्यान्ते नाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिलाभिस्तुलम्बत्याकोशसन्निभम् तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वार्चिर्विश्वतोमुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजन् तिष्ठन्नाहारमचरः कविः तिर्यगोर्ध्वमधश्यायैरश्मजस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिख अणीयोर्ध्वाव्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्थाद्विद्युल्लेखे बभास्वर मीवारशोकवत्तन्वि पीताभास्वत्यणोपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्म स शिवः स हरिः सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् ऋतगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्मपुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ शम्भवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनां मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु Please repeat. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Vireshwar, Narendranath, Jiva Deva, Sujnana Pradata, Jaya Vireshwar, Narendranath, Jiva Deva, Sujnana Pradata, Vishwa Suvanya, Tapati Mirahara, Vivekananda, Jaya Vireshwar Narendranath, Jaya Vireshwar Narendranath, Jiva Deva Sujnana Pradata, दीनजनाश्रय विश्वसुवन्द्या
दीनजनाश्रय विश्वसुवन्द्या
दीनजनाश्रय विश्वसुवन्द्या
दीनजनाश्रय विश्वसुवन्द्या
तापतिमिरहर विवेकानन्द
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 तापतिमिरहर विवेकानन्द तापतिमिरहर विवेकानन्द तापतिमिरहर विवेकानन्द My dear friends, it is giving me immense pleasure to be before you today to expound upon this topic, the powers of positive thinking. It is something quite useful, relevant, quite desired by so many people all over the world. Sometimes I feel very much amazed to see the farsightedness of the sages of India. I am not telling this in this any chauvinistic tone, in a fanatic tone. It is for verification. It has been already verified. How much they have thought about assuring grandeur and dignity to a human entity. When Swami Vivekananda was here in this country 100 years ago, he happened to say one beautiful thing about the culture that he hailed from, he represented. The best and the most brilliant brains of India retire to forest, engage in themselves in a deep study of the human nature, and also in the study of how he can be liberated from all his limitations, and how he can be installed on the pedestal of glory and grandeur, always abiding, ever abiding and eternal. They were very much fed up with human limitations. In one stroke, they wanted to find out a solution for all these things. They never believed in ad hoc solutions. And the result was Sanatana Dharma, or the Vedanta. There is hardly anything that they have not touched. Not only that they have not touched upon, they have not left anything untouched, they have exhausted the study of how to assure the ability, the capacity, the grandeur, everything that a man needs so that he is never faced with any difficulty or any trial afterwards. Once this knowledge is given to him, which we also call as Vedanta, once he attains, when he captures this Vedantic insight, once he comes to know about what I am and how I should live, what must be the way of life that I must adopt for myself, he must elevate himself to immortality, or he must elevate himself to the grandeur, the beauty, the dignity of any level that he wants. Viewed from this angle, what we popularly call as Sanatana Dharma is nothing but a science of human growth, or a science of human development. It is in this background that today I am here to say certain things about this subject. It is very clearly mentioned all through the Vedantic literature that what counts for man is just his attitude. Oh man, it is dependent upon the attitude that you have about your own self and the attitude that you have about the world that ultimately decides whether you should remain a miserable being all through your life, or in one stroke you must emerge out triumphant. Who are you? Do you know? This is one question that runs through constantly in the Upanishads. Who are you? Atmanam vidhi. Know what you are. Know what you are means have the right type of attitude about your own self. Know what you are. Do you know what you are? Atmanam vidhi. Atmanam vidhi. Try to find out what you are. When I tell this before you, I recall to my memory a very interesting incident that took place in the life of Swami Chinmayananda, perhaps with whom most of you are familiar with. Most of you might have heard about him. He did a lot of work in America too. Chinmaya Mission, we all know. When he was a student of Madras University, he developed a liking to go and meet Ramana Maharshi, who was living nearby in Tiruvannamala. During those days, it was a fashion for Madras University students to go and meet Ramana Maharshi. And this Swami Chinmayananda in his pre-monastic days, Balakrishna, he was no exception. He also went there. Went silently to the Maharshi and almost whispered to him, "Sir, please teach me something. Please teach me something." The Maharshi said, many people had gathered around, as usually the case is with any saint in India. Let everyone get out, I will teach you. Let everyone get out, I will teach you. He waited for some time. Balakrishna waited for some time till all that had gathered left the hall and it was vacant. Went to Ramana Maharshi silently again and again put this question, "Sir, please teach me. Everyone has gone out. I only am here. I only am here." Immediately the Maharshi's reply was, "Let that I also get out, I will teach you." Let that I also get out. Maharshi gave the quintessence of all Vedantic teachings in that one word, or in that one small sentence, let that I also get out. He has given enough to ponder upon what this I means. What is this I? Can I get out? Can that I get out? Can I ever go out? If it is something that is capable of going out and coming in, what exactly is that? Can you understand this I concept? Do you know what is that I? You have known everything that is worth knowing in the whole creation. You have known everything. Knowing I is the apex. It is the acme of all knowledge. It forms the culmination of all knowledge. That is what is meant by the spiritual knowledge. Spirituality means knowing about what you are, the subject that studies all the objective world. That is the difference between the secular knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. Secular knowledge, as it is obtained through so many secular sciences today, we have in the form of physics, chemistry, etc., etc., they all give a knowledge and insight about the world that is manifest, or truth that is manifest. World is the truth that is manifest. Physics, chemistry, etc., they supply knowledge about how the things are, how the created world is, how the manifested world is. But the very science that can give an elaborate description of all these things can never give even the slightest insight into the truth itself. They say about the truth manifest and they are silent about truth itself. Truth is one thing, truth as it is manifest is another thing. This is the differentiation, demarcation that Hindu wisdom makes. The manifested world is one thing, it is bound by space, time and causation for any manifestation. The absolute must involve itself, must open up itself for the influence of time and causation to be cast upon, to be worked out upon. then only manifestation will come. The infinite, the absolute truth, unless it minimizes itself, it allows itself for the effect of time, space and causation to be worked upon that, can never have a manifestation. Manifestation cannot be there. The existence will be there, but the manifestation will not be there. Even through the manifestation, truth remains intact. Truth will never go away because it has manifested itself, not that the whole of truth has been exhausted and there has left behind nothing, no trace of truth, not so. Truth is very much there, truth is very much there. Truth as manifest and truth as it is. Truth as manifest and truth as it is. So therefore, in the whole of the manifested world, you have always got two entities. The entity that is manifest and the entity that is really. In Sanskrit, to indicate objects, we use the word vastu. It has got tremendous significance. Vastu in Sanskrit means something that has got vastavata, something that has got reality. What it is in vastavata, that is vastu. But what it appears is rupa. Nama and rupa is one thing, vastu is another thing. The manifested world has got only namas and rupas. This table is a nama, it has a nama, a name, a rupa, a form. Rupa means form, nama means name. It has got a name and form, but the object of which it is made has neither form nor name. What is the object of which it is made? In today's quantum physics, in the language of quantum physics, I have to say it is a little of quantum field. In Vedantic language, I have to say it is little of Brahman. Neither quantum field has got any description. Tomorrow, there may come a time when all the physicists will join together to give an exact description of what it is. But as far as the table as a part of Brahman is concerned, you can never know any detail about how that Brahman is. That can never be known. That cannot be known. But it is. It can be experienced, but it cannot be known. It cannot be expressed. For any knowledge to come, something must be expressed about that. So like that it goes. So, coming back to the subject that I was dealing with, what is that I? When Maharshi said, let that I also get out, what is that I? To know about I is the scope. That is the meaning of spiritual science, that is spirituality. Anyone who has been earnestly trying to know about what this I means is a spiritual man. Anyone who has been earnestly practicing all the things required for the realization of the meaning of the word I is a spiritual man. All other people, they are still in the preparatory stage. Any number of rituals may be engaged in, any number of other things may be engaged in, but they are all in the preparatory stage. You have not come to the spirituality proper. So, to know I means, as it is applicable to today's subject, knowing I means having the correct attitude towards that I. Do you have the correct attitude about that I? Do you have the correct attitude about that I? When you don't have the right type of attitude towards the subject that has been handling the world, any amount of attitudinal change that you may have towards the world itself may not be of so much import, may not be of so much significance. So, whenever I touch upon the subject attitude, it has got two aspects. It is a binary subject. The attitude towards the subject and attitude towards the object outside. Definitely, more important is to have the right attitude towards the subject itself. There is something inside, there is something inside. Very much different from the apparent form that is perceivable. Imperceivable, intractable, there is something inside. That is your real I. That is your real I. You change, rather you live in that spirit, your body will change to any convenient form that you want. You can change your body. You can change your whole being. You need not brood that you don't have the right type of brain that you wanted. You need not brood that you are not having the right type of limbs that you are having. You don't have the right type of the physical exterior, physical dimension that you wanted. You need not brood. This is the greatness of Hindu philosophers, or this is the benefit that they have given to the mankind. Oh man, you can rebuild yourself. Your father and mother might have given you something, some sort of psychophysical complex, but you can destroy it, or with above that, over and above that, you can rebuild a new personality which will be more predominant than what you have been, what has been bequeathed to you by your parentage. You can rebuild yourself. You can rebuild yourself. You can have a second birth. According to the wisdom of the sages, the Hindu culture, everyone had a need to have this second birth. When a boy or girl attains the age of 5 or 6, there used to be certain samskaras in Hindu culture, and those samskaras were so designed to give a new birth to the boy or girl under consideration. You are not helpless. What they mean by this is, oh man, you are not helpless. Where to be born, what sort of parentage you had to have, none of these things was in your hands as far as the first birth is concerned. But in your second birth, you can build yourself into any form that you want. You can have a rebirth, you can have a second birth too. That is education. In Indian point of view, that is the real education. Real education means evolving out a new personality from out of the existing one. You can evolve anything that you want. You can have dvijatvam, you can have a second birth. How? That is the scope of today's topic. How? Change your attitude towards your own self. A new man, a new woman is born. A new person is born out. Change yourself. Have that positive attitude. What is that? What you are really? What you are really? The Vedantic exhortation is that you are Atman. You are not this body. You are not this mind. You are Atman, which is simply indestructible as far as its glory is concerned. You are Atman, which is deathless. It has got absolute existence, it has got absolute knowledge, it has got absolute bliss. Its existence is never affected and therefore you have no death. Its knowledge is never affected, therefore you are always all-knowing. You are omniscient. You are always, its bliss is never affected and therefore you are Satchidananda. Your bliss is never affected. You are Ananda. You are never a miserable man. If you think yourself as someone having death or as someone having some ignorance, or as someone very much bound and afflicted by the miseries, it is perhaps the greatest lie that you are going to tell about yourself. It's a blatant lie and a blatant violation of truth. You are moving very much away from truth. You are doing injustice to truth. And anyone who does injustice to truth does not deserve to have the glory and grandeur around, because he is a man with little or no sense or no relevance in the existence of what is known as the scheme of life around. So what are you? You are that absolute existence, absolute knowledge and absolute bliss. If you assert this point, if you tell yourself again and again, whatever may be the opinions that others may have about me, whatever may be the opinion that I have been having about me, but now I have come to the conclusion, I have come to realize these are all pertaining to the external sheets of what I am really. The inner core of my being is very much different from that. That is the real I. And whenever I must have an opinion about me, it should be in conformity with that inner core only, and not the exterior sheets, not the external layers. If this attitude you can have towards you, I think the more intense that feeling is in you, more quickly you can evolve a person out of you, a new person, altogether a new person out of you. To illustrate this, I recall to my memory one very wonderful incident that took place in this very country, America. Most of you must be knowing about that. Today, in the morning, when I was interviewed at Stanford University by Shrikant, I just gave a glimpse of this incident. A girl was born in some area, which I don't remember, of course, a part of America only. When she was in the age of 5 or 6, she developed polio and lost her leg. She became crippled. All the doctors in the vicinity in one voice said, she cannot walk. She was asked by the physicians and the doctors to use crutches for executing her mobility. There is no other way for her. She was by name Wilma Rudolph. You have no other way, Wilma. You must have some sort of external device to depend upon for your mobility. You can never have a normal walk like any of your friends can have. But this girl is not prepared to accept that version. Somehow, I do not know whether she had heard any Indian sage expounding upon the true nature of man or anything like that, I do not know. But she got the true import of the Vedantic message. She was the last person to accept the version that she was crippled. She said, no, nothing has happened to me, nothing has happened to me, nothing can happen to me. I am all right. I will see that I will be in a position to walk like any other my friends can. I am not going to take any crutch. I am not going to depend upon any external aid. Like any other person walks, I am going to walk. Whatever may be the strain, whatever may be the effort that I may have to put forth for achieving this, but I am bent upon, I will do it. I do achieve that, but I am not prepared to go for any other alternative. This adamantine girl was never prepared to accept any assistance or any alternative that was being suggested by the competent people around. She approached the physical education teacher one day in the school and explained her plight. Seeing the determination in her and seeing the intensity of the will that she had to restore herself, the ability that she has lost presently, the teacher was very much moved, even though inside him he too was not having any hope that this girl may get back the leg that she has lost. He was prompted to tell her, don't worry Vilma, you practice walking every day sincerely for hours together. One day you will be in a position to walk. You will have a normal walk like any of your friends is having. Nothing will happen to you. Nothing is impossible for human effort. Don't worry. Only outwardly he said, but inwardly he was cocksure that nothing of like that would be any possibility any time, because it's so evident, so glaring that she is polio hit. She can never have her feet touch the ground. So evident, but somehow that came out, blurted out in a way. She took it very seriously. From next day onwards, started practicing walking every day, both in the morning and evening for hours together. By the time she came to the position of completing her high school education, she was the fastest girl in the school. It gave her tremendous confidence. If this much could be achieved means, I can go for further heights also. That filled her with so much of optimism, and now she is in the college studies. Similar practices she undertook there also. There came 1964 or 1960, Olympics events were to be conducted somewhere. Vilma was selected to represent America in the running race event. 100 meters running race, 200 meters running race, 400 meters running race, relay race, she got 4 gold medals. Can we ever believe this? Can we believe? Is it anything fabulous? Am I quoting anything from a fable? Or is it a reality? This is a stark reality, a glaring reality that took place in this very country only about 40 years ago. This story will give everything about the power of positive attitude, the power of positive thinking. She rebuilt herself. A new body was evolved out of the old rut. Whatever remnant that was there, that was repaired, it was thrown aside and a new body came from out of her. No person might have imagined a worse damnation than that she had. It is impossible for anyone to imagine a worse condition than the condition in which she was put. But ultimately what happened? She came out triumphant. She emerged triumphant. She won over all the challenges that nature had imposed upon her. The whole world could not believe when she said, one day I will be in a position to walk. She walked, she ran, she got gold medals, 4 gold medals in Olympics. The girl that was polio hit, who could not execute one step ahead, came to a position where she got 4 gold medals in Olympics. Means, friends, please ponder upon this point. How at all it came? Did she manufacture a new body and got it integrated to her old one? Where from it came? Her physical exterior was crippled, but her real inner personality, was never crippled. It is something that can never be crippled. Her real personality, her real being was not crippled. The essence of her being, the essence of her existence was never affected. Nothing happened to it. Whatever crippling or whatever disease or whatever deformation may take place with respect to the physical dimension of you, but that is not you. You are not that. It is just an external sheath, an outer insulation for the real essence that you are, the real inner reality that is enshrined by the outer coverage. After all, this is just an outer coverage. It is for people, it is for children to understand that it is copper wire that is doing all the things that electricity is doing. But a man who has got even a fair knowledge of electricity will come to know it is just conduct in the energy and it is not energy itself. On the same analogy, whatever you are mistaking for the real being of man, it is just an insulation outside. It is a conductor and not the essence, not the energy itself. This is all the attitude that we need to have about ourselves. So simple. So simple. With that, what you can do? Anything that you can do. Because the real essence of you, if that is properly understood by you, and if you start living in that notion, if you have that realization, if you are always subscribing yourself to that grand truth that is ever present in you, what a miracle can be done. What a miracle can be done. This is what the Upanishadic exhortations, the Vedantic exhortations, time and again try to impress upon us. Atman Viddhi, please try to know what you are. Please try to know what you are. Please try to know what you are. You are not this body, you are not this mind. We all know about Shankaracharya's that Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am not this body, I am not this mind. I am that inner self. I am this inner self. I am Shivoham, I am Shiva. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. I am not a weakling. I am not a weakling. I should never say I am a weakling. Swami Vivekananda went to the extent of saying, if there is any sin in this world, this is the grossest sin, that is to say that you are weak. Because that is perhaps the worst violation of truth. Truth can never be violated more than a person when he says, I am weak or I am incapable of doing it. This I cannot do, that I cannot do. These versions have nothing to do with what exactly is the situation, with the truth. Swami Vivekananda says, if there is any sin in this world, this is the only sin, to think that you are weak or others are weak. This is the only sin. Unfortunately, Indians have been committing this sin en masse. Everybody is so fond, everybody derives a sort of joy in saying, what can I do? What can I do? Somebody else will have to do. Because perhaps they are committing this worst type of sin, we are not able to find any glory around. All those countries, all those people that are not committing this sin, somehow they are doing something. Some sort of achievement is coming up. I am always fond of giving this one example where I speak to audiences in India. Do Americans worship Lakshmi? Do Americans worship Lakshmi? They don't worship. Are they poor? You know, Lakshmi is goddess of wealth. Do Americans worship Lakshmi? Are they poor? They are not poor. Do Japanese worship Saraswati? Are they deluxe? Are they blackheads? We worship Saraswati, we worship Lakshmi, we worship Ganesha, especially the student community. When the month March dawns, all the students will be around Ganesha temple. Because in another 15 days or 1 month examination is coming. Preparation has not been up to date. Adequate preparation has not taken. Oh Ganesha, please commit in your life. Swami Vivekananda, it was left to Swami Vivekananda to give this realization to the whole country when he said, if there is any sin in this world, this is the only sin, to think that you are weak. This sin is being committed by every Indian every day, at least 25 times a day. He says, I cannot do anything unless that person comes and helps me. I cannot do anything. I cannot do this thing. I cannot do that thing. And the result is that nothing is happening big. Friends, about 100 years ago, there was one scientist in America, one Alexis Carrel. You all have heard about him. And there is a masterpiece that he has written, Man the Unknown, a very beautiful book, Man the Unknown. Today, I think the whole of West, at least a major portion of the West, Western intellectual classes have been thoroughly impressed by the thoughts of Alexis Carrel. In America, it is Emerson, Thoreau, and Walt Whitman. If you go to West, if you go to the other part, Europe, it is Thomas Carlyle, Rousseau, of course, France, etc. Rousseau, Thomas Carlyle, Alexis Carrel, and all that. This Alexis Carrel has worked for some time in Rockefeller Foundation. Afterwards, he wrote a book. The title of the book is Man the Unknown. The essence of the book is there is an unknown man inside which we have to take care of. There is an unknown man inside who really resolves, who really determines what you are. The outer coverage, the outer appearance of man, it is of secondary importance. It has got a secondary position. The real man is inside. The unknown man is more, it should become more predominant. He must become more predominant. It is more important than the outer man, the unknown man. He goes to the extent of saying the outer body will go on changing as the inner body also changes, as the inner feeling changes. The one beautiful passage that one can come across in that book is, usually we do not understand that your physical body is changing every moment as a direct result of the inner concept of what you are. This is a passage I am quoting from his book. Usually we don't realize that our physical body is changing every moment as a direct result of the inner concept of what you are. This is not a self-image. What is the image that you have about you? The self-image. What image you have? What sort of image you have about you? Whatever may be the image that you have been having all these days, at least from now onwards, you have to stick to truth and say, I am deathless, I am birthless, I am immortal, I am Atma, I am Atma. Whether it is wrong or right, whether it is good or bad, simply dwell upon this idea, immerse yourself in this idea, day in and day out, always have this idea in you. Let it course through the whole being of you. Let it enter into the arteries and veins of you, and let the whole body, let every cell simply reverberate with this idea. I am the Atma, I am the Atma. It is verified. It is not an approach, remember. It is a verified truth. 50 long centuries, the best and the most brilliant brains of India, they have engaged themselves in some sort of invention, in some sort of study. And the result of the study is that man is deathless, birthless, and whatever death or whatever birth that he has been observing in case of man, that simply pertains to the exterior of him and not the real essence of him. It is not an approach, it is truth. What is science after all? Science is living in truth, searching truth and living according to truth. If that is science, why science must not be equally holding good in case of the inner component, that is in case of the subject that is visualizing all this objective world and all that? Should science be confined only to the exterior of the nature? Has it nothing to do with the internal nature, the subject that has been studying all those things? If science is science really, it must have a universal application. Should never be confined only for studying the externalities. Equally, the person, the consciousness, the subject that studies must have the benefit of science too, for knowing what it is. That is what today even quantum physics is arriving at, slowly and gradually. There is one invariable that has been eluding all the scientists. Of late, the scientists have come to the conclusion that the elusive invariable is nothing but the consciousness of the scientist. So it is the consciousness, the mind of scientists that is very much responsible as to why we are not able to come to a definite conclusion about the building material of the universe. So viewed from all angles, all sciences ultimately are converging to the point that man occupies, man constitutes an important part of study, unless and until you know what exactly man is made of. Unless you come to know what really is studying this external nature, even the knowledge of external nature will not be complete. It will be either defective or it will be only a part. It will be partly or it will be defective. So the knowledge of man has got direct bearing upon even the knowledge of the external world. Physics can never become an exact science unless you will come to understand about the man who is studying that physics, who is giving that knowledge of physics. So much of import, so much of importance it has achieved today. So therefore, we need to know what we are. For others, I do not know how much they will be convinced of this. At least as far as people of Indian origin, this study has been taken up long ago, and definite conclusions have been arrived about them. According to that, the truth about the subject is that you are some essence inside, and there is just a coverage outside, which you call as psychophysical complex, and most of the times it is psychophysical complex that is mistaken for the whole of the being of man, but which is not so. So, having this attitude about one's own self, the subject that is studying the objective world, so many changes can be brought about. Many changes can be brought about. This is what Alexis Carrel says in his book, Man the Unknown, when he puts it in very clear language. Your physical body is changing every moment. That is how Wilma Rudolph changed her body. Your physical body is changing every moment. The crippled body went away and a strong, healthy body came in its place. How did she do? She did not take any medicine. Nothing was administered into. She never consulted any expert in that regard. Whatever she dealt with it was simply dealing with the inner notion about her own self. She simply changed her self-image. She never was prepared to accept that she was defeated in this task. She went on asserting herself, thinking, I can, and ultimately she came to a position where she could. Definitely she can. She could do it. So, Alexis Carrel says, our physical body is changing every moment as a direct result of the inner concept of what you are. Another scientist, Maxwell Maltz, I think most of you must have gone through psycho-cybernetics, the author of which is Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon. He also has come to the conclusion all your behavior, all your action, all your capacity have got a direct relation with the self-image. Not only that, unless you change your self-image, you cannot bring about marked changes in your behavior or in your ability or your action by simply catering to the external behavior only. If you simply observe the external behavior and if you want to change them, that change can never be effected. If you want to change the external dealings of man, the ability of man, the capacity of man, the behavior of man, there is some seed inside, in some realm, it is there that you have to effect your change. So the treatment has to be effected there and not just merely treating the branch and the leaf outside, but you have to inject at the root level. So scientists here and there, both Alexis Carrel here, Maxwell Maltz there, and Indian philosophers, they all converge in their opinion when they say that man, essentially, you are something other than what normally you are made to think about yourself. You are that essence, you are that grand, that wonderful, deathless, birthless, immortal self. So this is the attitude that we must have about our own self. When you have this attitude, what will be the benefit that you are going to have? In what way it can have a bearing upon your capacity to handle the external situation? You grow to be invincible. You always grow to be invincible. In the sense, your capacity will go on increasing. Gradually, more intense this feeling is there in you, quicker will be the result of you. Quicker will be the result of you. The whole person will be transformed. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, during his days of spiritual practices, underwent a very peculiar experience. He wanted to take the darshan of Sri Ramachandra. You know, he was a great experimentator in the field of spirituality in India that our country has seen in recent times. He wanted to have the darshan of Sri Rama. Bhakti schools of yoga, they have got an arrangement in this regard. They have a system. They have a system. That is, to have the darshan of Sri Ramachandra, I have to think about myself as a great devotee of Rama. A great devotee of Rama, the feeling, the consciousness of him must be imposed upon me. If Hanuman is the greatest devotee of Sri Ramachandra, anyone who wants to have the darshan of Sri Ramachandra must impose upon himself the consciousness of Hanuman. Or he must live in Hanuman consciousness as long as he wants to have the darshan of Rama. And the result of that will be, one day Sri Ramachandra will appear before you. Afterwards, if it is needed, you can continue to live in that consciousness, or you can put aside and go to some other consciousness depending upon what you intend to do in your life. So Sri Ramakrishna wanted to have the darshan of Sri Ramachandra. Took a mantram from a competent Vaishnava teacher about Rama. Now he decided that he must live in Hanuman consciousness. He removed all his clothes, simply tied a piece of cloth around his waist, climbed upon a tree, used to spend a lot of time sitting on some branch of that tree only. A piece of cloth would be tied at the back so that it would resemble the tail of Hanuman. He would be simply sitting on a branch and always living in that Rama consciousness, repeating the name of Rama, whatever mantra that he had taken from the Guru. He went on repeating that Rama mantra, ever living in Hanuman consciousness, imitating Hanuman in every possible way, so that the external imitation will definitely conduce for the intensity of the inner consciousness to grow deeper and deeper. That was the idea that prompted him to do all these things. A few days afterwards, Sri Ramakrishna later, when he narrated his experiences, Sri Ramakrishna says when he was living this consciousness, after a few days, a tail grew below his spinal cord. A tail grew, a little of tail that had a length of about 2 inches or so. It grew below his spinal cord. When this was narrated to the disciples that had gathered around Sri Ramakrishna one day at Daksheshwar, one of the disciples was prompted to ask this question, "Sir, does the tail continue to be there?" "No. As soon as I gave up this Hanuman consciousness from my being, that tail also disappeared." It disappeared. A tail grew. When I was in the Hanuman consciousness, a tail grew. A human being is developing a tail. The inner feeling is changing the external, the dimension of the man who is immersed in that inner feeling. If this is one thing, there is another still more interesting episode in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Now Ramakrishna wanted to have the darshan of Sri Krishna. He was so fond of, rather he was so bent upon having all these varied and various experiences as explained in spiritual scriptural literature, in Indian scriptural literature. His interest could never be exhausted. Soon after he had the darshan of Sri Ramachandra, he wanted to have the darshan of Krishna. He followed the same method. He caught hold of a guru and obtained one Krishna mantra from him, and now he wanted to live in Radha consciousness. You know, the greatest devotee of Krishna is Radha only. He wanted to live in Radha consciousness, removed all the clothes that he had worn. He wore a sari, just as any lady wears, and he had some artificial tuft-like structure also, a artificial lock of hair, and he started living this Radha consciousness every day, every night. He would simply yearn for the darshan of Krishna, always go out of the house, go out of the temple at Dakshineshwar, would stand below a tree, and so with so much intense fervor, intense yearning, look for the darshan of Krishna. The whole being was impressed in this Radha consciousness. You will be surprised to know, Sri Ramakrishna goes to narrate this incident too. He says, after some time, my whole body, absolutely 100%, got converted into a feminine body. The whole body attained the feminine structure. I became effeminate. Total, it was total. Total means total, absolute, 100%. Whatever a grown women body will have as its features, as its characteristics, each and everything Sri Ramakrishna had. He gives a narration about that also, which I don't want, of course, in this assembly. He gives a narration of that also. I became totally a woman. I became a woman. I got the darshan of Sri Krishna. And afterwards, as I gave up this consciousness, body got back to its original structure, original feature. So here only, in our own time, only about 100 years ago, we have got glaring examples to ascertain the fact that the feeling of a man, the consciousness of man, has a tremendous bearing upon changing his being, changing the man or the woman that he is. After all, this is what we want. Whatever may be the present position of us today, we may be dull-headed, or we may be incapable, we may be incapacitated, whatever it may be, it is by changing the self-image that you have about your own self, it's possible for you to bring about the corresponding changes in the other dimensions of the being also. This is how a new man is evolved out of the existing being. A new person is brought, is taken out of the existing being. A new birth is given, a new birth is there. That is how a Valmiki, a Ratnakara, a butcher-like person got transformed into Valmiki. This is how a Kalidasa, a blackhead, dullest person that could ever be found in India during those days, became an extraordinary poet. We see such metamorphic changes taking place in the life of all these great people. How they were brought about, how they took place. They took place by virtue of some sort of ministration that went into the inner being. Some mantra or some teaching was given. That teaching entered and occupied the whole being overwhelmingly for quite a long time, resulting in the birth, in the emergence of a new being altogether. And the new being was the ideal image, ideal being that the man under consideration wanted to be, and he became what he wanted to be. This is the purpose and the purport of every education system. Education means bring out. The word education in English, it has got a Latin root. In Latin, the educare or educo has got itself transformed into education in English. Educare or educo in Latin means bring out. Just bring out. What to bring out? That wonderful man is there, a wonderful dimension is there inside, that is to be brought out. It is there in every human being. It is there in every human, without a single exception. That is there, but now coiled up, now hidden. It has been pushed because the exterior dimension, it has simply pushed it to some corner inside. It has no predominance. The exterior or the external dimension has got the predominance, pushing it to a corner, making it not to raise its head anytime. So that has become the case with almost all of us. So what we have to do, we have to simply reverse the process. Give preference, give all encouragement, give the nourishment that is needed for the inner being to raise its head, grow itself, and see that it becomes predominant over the whole system rather than the external dimension. This is what education really means. The mind of man, that is the inner being, mind of man must always have predominance over the sensory system that we have got. So cultivating the mind, culturing the mind in a way that it should be, is the real purport of education. So Swami Vivekananda, when he defines the word education, says education is the manifestation of the perfection that is already in man. There is a mass of perfection inside. There is an embodiment of perfection already inside. That embodiment of perfection should have the predominance over the whole being. That can be made, that can be achieved by subjecting the person under consideration to the right type of education. So attitude is really very, very important in the life of any man. William James, a professor at Harvard University, who till recently has written a beautiful book on psychology too. It is so interesting to know that William James attended almost all the lectures of Swami Vivekananda that he delivered in America. Almost all the lectures. Josiah Royce also attended a few, but William James made it a point to see that he attended all Swami Vivekananda's lectures. Perhaps he must have been thoroughly motivated by Vivekananda's thoughts and all that. Later, he wrote a book on psychology. There is a beautiful sentence that he gives place in his book, which says, the greatest discovery of my times is that men can change themselves by changing their attitudes. This is the greatest discovery in our times. The greatest discovery in our times is men can change themselves by changing their attitudes. You simply change your attitude and you have become a new man. I once again recall to my memory a very interesting incident that took place in the life of Alexander. Alexander had tremendous respect for his teacher Aristotle. A friend of Alexander one day was prompted to ask him, Alexander, Aristotle is a guru to you as well as to me. But I somehow see that you are very unduly devoted to Aristotle. I know guru is to be respected. He must be held in high esteem. That's very much there. It's quite understandable. But your devotion, the way that you venerate him, it is something a little bit odd. It is undue, it seems to me. Alexander gives an explanation for his conduct there to his friend. You know, I do respect my parents. I respect and revere my father, mother, undoubtedly. I hold them in high esteem. But there is a difference between them and Aristotle. You know, my parents gave me, or my parents simply brought me to this earth in the form of a mass of flesh and blood. An animated meat I was when they brought me over to this earth. I was just an animated meat. Out of this animated meat, Aristotle brought out a world-conquering hero. My parents have contributed for my existence, for my being undoubtedly, but it is a limited one. It is limited. They really did bring me in some human form. That apart, more than that, what did they do? But see the contribution of Aristotle. He brought out a world-conquering hero out of whatever that was presented to him in the form of just a mass of flesh and blood by my parents. Whom do you consider as the greatest benefactor for you? Who has given you a greater benefit? Is it not that Guru? This is precisely the reason why in India, Guru is held higher than any other being. There is a saying in Kannada, if Shiva grows angry, Guru can definitely protect you. If Guru grows angry, even Shiva cannot protect you. There is an adage in Kannada. Of course, that must be there in all Indian languages too, because that is the central wisdom as far as the Guru cult is concerned in India. So Guru is held in such a high esteem because he is giving a new birth to you. He is evolving a new personality out of you. He is taking a new person from you. A new personality is carved. He is the sculptor, master sculptor, who really builds you in a way that he wants to be very happy to look at. And what more we need? If a personality, a strong personality, a resourceful personality, a capable personality is anything that we need today, where is the mystery for that? Where is the basis for that? There may be so many bases for that, there are so many ways to achieve it. I think the most effective way, as it has been verified in history, is that, oh man, change your attitude. With that, definitely you can change yourself. You can bring a new personality from out of your being to anything that you want. Sri Ramakrishna wanted to be Radha, he became Radha. Sri Ramakrishna wanted to be Hanuman, he became Hanuman. Wilma Rudolph wanted to be the fastest girl in the world, she did become the fastest girl in the world. We have glaring examples. These are all notable, recorded examples. We do not know how many unrecorded examples are there. All examples, all incidences will not be recorded in history. So anyway, if it is verified in one case, it is definitely something that is valid in all other cases also. This is the capability of the human birth. That is the reason why human birth is praised in lofty term in all Indian glories, in all Indian literatures. Human, Shankaracharya goes to ecstasy when he gives the picture of how much blessed a human being is in his Viveka Chudaman. In the very third verse, he says, Durlabham Trayame Vaitat, Daivanugra Hetukam, Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha.
If a person has been bestowed with these three opportunities, he has got the highest blessing in his life. If he has only just these three things, each one of which is just a privilege, it is a unique privilege. Each one is a unique privilege. What is that? Have you that human birth? Manushyatvam. Do you have human birth? Do you have mumukshutva? Mumukshutva means that unsatiable hunger to evolve into a higher being, to achieve mukti. Mukti means the master of the situation, the master of the universe, and not a victim of any situation, and not a mediocre. Mukti is a state. It is a state. If that mumukshutvam is there, if that tremendous urge is there to evolve into higher dimensions, it is another great privilege that you have got. If you have some person who can help you achieve in this life, then you are definitely the most blessed personality. You are the most blessed being in the whole creation, in the whole universe. Like this, many Indian sages, philosophers, etc., they have sung the glory of human birth in such a lofty terminology for the only reason we can achieve anything that we want. Whatever may be the present scenario, whatever may be the present condition in which I am born, I had nothing in my hands to decide what my parentage must be or what the situation in which I should be born. I had nothing to do. But having been born in any situation, having been born in any parentage, there is one more opportunity for each and everyone in the whole humankind to rebuild himself into any fashion that he wants, into anything that he wants. All this can be easily achieved by changing our attitude. Change the attitude that you have to the externalities is secondary, but the attitude that you are supposed to have, you must have towards your own self, that is of primary importance. And therefore, I prevailed more on this primary attitude, the attitude of primary importance, that is, what attitude you must have towards your own self. The attitude that you must have towards your own self is that I am self, the most resplendent, something of absolute existence, absolute knowledge, and absolute bliss. This is precisely what is meant by the word Satchidananda. The Atman in me and the Brahman outside. Vedanta very clearly says there is no any distinct difference between the Atman inside and the Brahman outside. There is no distinct difference. It is just a notional existence. Whatever circumference is there that separates the Atman inside from the Brahman outside, it has got notional, that is called ego. Ego separates the individual self from the universal self. But that ego has not any existence at all. It is quite active, it is operative, it is significant, it is definitely having an impact on the movement and the conduct of man, but it is something that doesn't have the reality in its existence at all. It has got a notionality. Even modern biology, as put forth by Lang, a great psychiatrist from England, modern biology also will say that this is just a convenient strategic ignorance, a convenient strategic delusion, a convenient strategic delusion of tremendous value. Ego is a convenient strategic delusion. That is just a delusion. It's convenient for the nature to endorse, to continue in the creation, therefore it is there. But that ego, it doesn't have any real existence at all. Something that does not have a real existence, should we be affected so much by that? This is what the Vedantic teachings must prompt every man. When you listen to all these things, you have to sit quietly for some time in the house or wherever that you want and ponder upon these points. We have to simply reflect upon. That's what Vedanta says. Now that you will learn, you will listen to the teachings by the teacher. First listen, that constitutes the first part of your education. Afterwards, you will reflect upon that deeply. First Shravanam, then Madanam, you reflect upon that. And later Nididhyasanam, you try to bring it into everyday practice, slowly and gradually. We know all the things cannot be brought into practice every day. That must always be a gradual process. Any development, any education, any transformation cannot be achieved overnight. It is a gradual process. So first you listen to it, then go on reflecting. Now that you have listened as to what really you are, or you have listened to any Vedantic, any personality who gives a Vedantic exposition before you, you can listen to him also. There you have an opportunity again to reflect upon what you are really. We should first try to cease. We should cease to exist in the physical dimension of our being. Try to go deeper into the inner realities of what we are. That I am this grand being, I am this great being. Try to reflect upon that every day. This itself is a spiritual sadhana. Whatever meditation can give you, whatever worship can give you, whatever selfless service can give you, the same thing can be given by this practice also. This is one yoga, a royal path, acknowledged and developed in India right from the days of yoga. This is Jnana Yoga, reflecting upon one's own true self, one's own true nature. That itself is a grand meditation. Ramana Maharshi never did any other meditation other than reflecting upon his own true nature. And later he turned out to be a great Maharshi of highest international spiritual standing. We all know. So like that, it never fails you. It does produce the effect that you want. There's a slow transformation, slow but definite transformation will take place. And this is the aim of all education. This is the aim of all training, which definitely you all can achieve by following all these instructions scrupulously and honestly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, whoever wants to ask questions, I can give it first on the sheet.
You can write the question on the sheet and transfer it on to me. Importance to all of us. A widely asked question and a deeply pondered upon question also. Is God a delusion? See, the essence of all reality. God is not a delusion. I think I have to take the help of theory of relativity to prove what God is. According to theory of relativity, we know change can be perceived only when it is viewed in the background of something that is less changing. And that less changing entity also can be perceived only when it is viewed in the background of something which is still less changing. You extend the argument ad infinitum. Ultimately, you will come to a point where you have something that is not at all changing. That is God. And remember, what is not changing is not relative. What is not relative is absolute. What is absolute is free, independent. What is independent is never bound by the cause and effect law. And it cannot undergo any change. We know it. Right in the beginning only, it cannot undergo any change. So that original entity is the one that has put forth all the creation. That's what Badarayana Sutras, one of the three bases upon which Hindu philosophy stands, Prasthana Traya, Brahma Sutras, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. It is on these three that Hindu wisdom stands. In Badarayana Sutra, he defines, Vyasa defines Brahman as Janmadhyasayataha, that from which everything else is born, that from which everything else has originated. So it is that inner original substance, that absolute, unchangeable, free, independent, non-relative entity, wherefrom the whole creation has come. It has put forth all this creation. The one has become the many. That one is what we call as God. So it is never, not only that it is not a delusion, it is the basis even for you. If that were not there, you would not have been here now. If anybody will agree with me when he says he is there, then he has to agree with me, then God also is there. Are you sure that you are there? Then you have to accept that God also is there. If you doubt your own existence, you can doubt the existence of God too. I think that can never take place. It becomes self-contradictory. It's a very important question, beautiful question. I am happy to commence the session with that. How can we lead a contented life? If you are spiritually bent, then you go for contented life in the sense let there not be so much materialism about you. If I remember well, I think it is Wordsworth who has said world is too much with us. So let there not be world too much with you. If you are bent upon leading a serious spiritual life, if you are not that much bent upon entering into the core of spiritual life, why at all you need to have a contented life? Rather fight against the odds and catch hold of everything that you want. What are you incapable of? Swamiji, I know I am capable of everything, but my capability I don't want to show in respect of material acquisition or in respect of the glory and the grandeur I may achieve in this mundane existence. My interest is elsewhere. I want to scale heights in the spiritual realms. If this is your answer, well, I do agree with you. Then minimize your material necessities or acquisitions to the extent that is needed, so that you can invest in the surplus energy and time for the spiritual advancement. Otherwise, why do you lead a contented life? That will only simply amount to laziness. That is what India has been doing presently. Neither spiritual advancement nor material advancement. What is there after all? All this is false world. Everybody says, all this is false world. So saying, he has never renounced his home and all. Nobody leaves away his home and comes to monastery. If I ask anybody to come to my ashrama, nobody turns up. If I ask him to at least earn some money and do the poor people and all that, Swamiji, this is all Maya. Where is poverty? Where is richness? Everything is false. He says everything is false. So that sort of what is known as an unbalanced vision is never a good thing. So see that your energies are not put to any waste. Your time is not put to waste. This grand human birth is given, a great privilege. Put it to the maximum use. Earn. If you are not interested to use those earnings for your personal enjoyment, well, give them out in charity. Many people need your earnings. Many people need your assistance. I need so much at least. I have been running one orphanage, one destitute home. If only I had sufficient resources at my disposal, I would have adopted one district in India. But I am a poor sannyasi, therefore, whatever little I could do, I am doing. But people do need material assistance. So don't shirk from involving yourself in pursuits. Pursuit must be there. You always must pursue something, always. Let that pursuit be either worldly in nature or spiritual in nature. I neither say you must have worldly pursuit nor spiritual pursuit. Whatever it may be. But see that with all ethical sense you are pursuing your goals. That is the only compulsion that we must be conscious of. With all ethical awareness, we must pursue our ends. No deviation from that. That being kept intact, you can go for any pursuit. So, if in spite of that, if you want to have any contented life, see that your wife and children are not suffering due to dearth of the things that they want. See that they don't suffer from the want of things for a decent life. At least if not for your sake, there are certain dependents in your home who are depending upon your giving them something in the form of resources. See that they don't grumble, they don't have any grievances about your being a mendicant like, a recluse like, an ascetic like person. And with that maintained, with that assured, you can perhaps invest your energy, time, etc. for spiritual studies, meditations, inner journey, and anything that you want. I would like to know the significance of your life or living. Perhaps indirectly you are asking the question, what does a sannyasi mean for today's world? Yes, the significance is that the institution of sannyasa has been conceived by Indian wisdom to prove before mankind that Upanishadic teachings are not just a theory, they can be practiced too. We have no one whom we can consider as ours. A sannyasi has no nationality. We are neither Hindus, nor Muslims, nor Christians, nor Indians. We belong to the whole universe. In Mahanarayana Upanishad says about sannyasi, Tasya prakriti leelasya yah parasya maheshwaraha. He is one with the nature. Air does not have nationality. Air does not have religion. Water does not have nationality. The Panchabhutas, the 5 elemental substances of which the whole creation is made, they have no nationality or religion. They don't have any denomination, geographical, physical, or whatever it is. We are one in the nature. A real sannyasi does not belong to anyone, he belongs to the whole mankind. So that is the reason when Vivekananda brought his brother-in-law to America, Swami Turiyananda, Vivekananda said, serve the people here and forget India. Serve the people here and forget India. Because somebody from India wrote a letter to Vivekananda, Swamiji, what are you doing there in the West? India needs our services more. Swamiji hit back. He told, I know my mission in life. There is no Shaivism about it. What is India, England, or America to us? We are the servants of that God whom the ignorant will call as man. So this is sannyasa. This is what Indian philosophy says. This is what Hinduism says. Everywhere a man is yours. No Hindu, no Muslim, nothing. Everywhere a man is yours. They are all just, somehow they are later developments. The word Hindu, it has got a geographical connotation. There is any spiritual bearing in that. That is why it is known as Sanatana Dharma, not Hinduism, to be very exact. Sanatana means a science with which one will be able to know how the manhood can be transformed into godhood, how you all can be elevated from the level of man to the level of God. That is all Hinduism means. That is all what Hinduism means. There is man, how he must be elevated to the level of God. And these are applicable. These are equally applicable for any human being anywhere. So, how to achieve this? Certain injunctions are there in the Upanishads. Hindu wisdom thought or sages thought, at least there must be a group of people, whatever may be the number of them, there must be a small minority of people who can live these ideals and prove before mankind that they are all practicable. So they conceived the idea or institution of sannyas, and sannyasis are that. We have no homes, nor hearts, no possessions, nothing. If anybody comes to kill me, I should not say no. If it pleases you, okay, we can do. That's how that took place in the life of Shankaracharya. One Kapalika in Sri Srila wanted to kill Shankaracharya. Shankara said, yes, I have no bodily attachments. You can kill me. It can be, if it can have any benefit to you. But by the time Padmapada, the disciple of him, came, Narasimha had taken possession of this Padmapada, then he tore this Kapalika to pieces because he was in that Narasimha consciousness. Like a lion, he tore this man to pieces. A sannyasi, that is, of course, there is a lot to say about that. This much will be very much sufficient for today's program and today's occasion. We are universal, highly universal. We have nothing. This is the color of fire. Just as fire will not differentiate between this and that, it consumes everything. It treats everything alike. We need to be one with all. We are one among all. We have nothing like our homes or our hearts or any such thing. This is precisely, briefly. I have not entered into the intricacies of the sannyasa institution, just as much as today's assembly can understand, at least as much as it is relevant for today's occasion. How can a genetically flawed, so-called mentally challenged person survive or live with positive attitude, That has been, in fact, the theme of today's lecture, Somehow you make that person feel that it is all right. I am all right. This is what that Maxwell Mould, I referred to one book in the course of my lecture. Maxwell Mould was a scientist, the author of Psycho-Cybernetics. He has conducted so many surgeries in his life. When he used this plan to cure the patients, that cure was more effective. The patients were cured more effectively by changing their self-image than bringing about any sort of surgical influence upon them. It is a proven science, it is a verified science. Somehow you make this person accept this ingredient, accept this input. You give that input to this boy or girl, that it has to change its notion about its own self. Everything is all right to me, nothing has happened, everything is all right, nothing has happened. Because we have to tell, we have to explain, we have to convince that this is just something like a cloth. Your physical body is something like a cloth. If cloth is torn into two pieces, does it affect your body in any way? So like that, something might have happened to your body too, but it has never touched the real inner you. You are intact still. You are quite alright still. A little of education needs. A little of education is needed. The person needs some education. After all, we have to, through education only, we have to correct the ideas. In short, is there a cure for autism with this positive attitude? I have never come across any concrete example specifically when this treatment has been effected upon a person suffering from autism, but you can try yourself. You can try. When a crippled person could be cured and could be made to overcome the disability that she had, why not autism too? Why not autism? It is a menace in America today. In New Jersey area, 1 in every 60 boys is suffering from autism. 1 in every 60 boys, 1 in every 120 people around New York and all that. I think some sort of effective device will have to be found out for putting an end to this menace. How to improve listening skills? You have to put no entry roads to your senses whenever you are listening something. All senses are going out. You have to take care of your food. Your food will decide about the nature of your mind. When I say food, it is not the food that you take through your mouth alone. What food that you are taking through your vision, into your beings? What sort of visions you are having through your eyes? What are you hearing about through your ears? Remember, you need to be extremely careful about what you are seeing and what you are hearing. Sometimes they may act very much detrimentally for the interest of you. In the sense, they will divert your attention, they will ruin the inner abilities. The mind will be totally ruined if you allow everything into your being indiscriminately. Discrimination is the one thing that has to be scrupulously followed, strictly followed by any man who wants to have some sort of considerable mental energies. All these things will come under the caption Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya was an essential value in olden days in India for all the students. Therefore, the student era itself is considered as Brahmacharya Ashrama. The first 25 years in anybody's life, according to Hindu culture, is Brahmacharya Ashrama. You need to be very strict in your dealings. You cannot have your acquaintance with each and everything, with each and every person, with each and every affair outside. You need to concentrate your energies only on knowledge, and nothing else. Only knowledge, nothing else. Otherwise, what will happen? They will simply ruin your mind. Mind will lose all the capacity for retention, for assimilation, for analysis, and it will just be something present without any effect being produced thereby. That will never be an effective instrument. A little of practice is needed. With a little difficulty, you can achieve this, but definitely you need to carry it out in all your seriousness and in all sincerity. If you want to have more of this, you can contact me over email for any of the questions. If you want more elaborate answers, well, I am prepared, but today's time is not permitting me much. For elaborate answers, you can contact me over email. My email address is very simple, very easy to remember. Swami Nirbhayananda @rediffmail.com. You all know I am Swami Nirbhayananda. Just add on rediffmail.com at rediffmail.com. To change our outlook, to look inwardly, to realize ourselves, please guide us the role of karma in this. Karma has got a tremendous role. Karma, as it is pursued in conformity with what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, it is an yoga in itself. Through karma, you need not go to achieve anything else. That itself will act as karma. In Mahabharata, there is an interesting episode. One young sannyasi one day went to a house and begged for alms. The household lady from inside came out. She did not come out immediately. She was inside the house only. When this man was shouting, from inside she said, "Please wait just for a while. I am serving my sick husband." This man was so much impatient, he did not wait even for a second. Immediately he blurted out. He shouted out again, "Please give me some alms." The lady came out and asked him, "Sir, do you think I am that bird to be burnt away by you if you become angry? Just a little while ago, this sannyasi had burnt a bird. He was doing tapasya beneath a tree. A bird standing at the top, it had passed feces from there. It fell upon him. He grew so much infurious and stared at that angrily. Immediately it got reduced to ashes and it fell down. About half an hour ago, this incident had taken place. Afterwards, the sannyasi had come to the township for alms, had gone to this house and begged for that. So this lady had just then asked him to wait for a while, but he was not so much patient. He went on crying. The lady came out and said, "Sir, please don't be angry. I am not that bird to be burnt away by you if you become angry." He was taken aback. He was startled, stunned. "Oh mother, how at all you knew about that? How you know about that?" Nobody had seen that incident. "How do you know about that?" "My guru is there in the market, in the township. He is a meat vendor. He is a meat vendor. He is there in the shop. This lady, ordinary lady, household lady, she has got yogic powers. Now it is all the more startling for him to learn that her teacher was a meat vendor. He was all the more taken aback, but did not utter a single word. Silently went to the marketplace. The moment he appeared there, the meat vendor greeted him saying, "That lady has sent you here, please come." He was not there to utter a single word. He waited silently. This time he did not do anything. He waited for the meat vendor to complete his business. He followed him to his house. Later, the meat vendor said, "Please be sitting here. There are aged parents inside in my house. I have to serve them. I have to attend to their requirements. Afterwards, I will come and attend to you. That is my duty. I have to do it." So he went inside, served the parents in the way that they wanted. Later he came and gives a beautiful exposition about how yoga can be achieved through karma also, through action also. This is known as Vyadha Gita in Mahabharata. Vyadha means a hunter. A hunter. Vyadha gives a wonderful exposition about Vedantic, subtle Vedantic truths to this young sannyasi who actually listened, who in all seriousness listened to him and became his disciple later. Through karma itself, through work itself, you can attain to yoga. But how? How it should be done? First and foremost thing is, don't be attached to the fruits of your action. This is what Krishna elaborately says. In the first 6 chapters, whatever may be the title of the yoga, everywhere predominantly it is karma only that occupies, that becomes the theme of his discussion. First 6 chapters rather deal with the karma only. Don't be attached to the fruit of the action because you are not the doer. When you are not the doer, how can you claim the fruit of your action? You are a medium through which something is being done. You are not the doer. Action is not coming from you. Action is coming through you. It is coming through you. It is not from you. Oh Arjuna, this is precisely the philosophy that I have been following in my life. So Krishna is never recorded in Bhagavata or Mahabharata to have gone to Himalayas or involved himself in any sort of serious tapasya. We don't come across Krishna doing a tapasya. But through life itself, through action itself, he attained to such a high level of yoga. How? Through action. Through action. How? He was never attached to the fruits of the action. And later, be firmly committed to the ethics in the action. Every dharma, every profession has got its own ethics. Every profession has got its own ethics. You have to scrupulously follow it. And whatever you earn by doing this action should not always be used for your personal purposes only. A part of that must be earmarked for the macrocosm, for the benefit of the collectivity too. You are not to take everything for you. A little of that should be spared for the use of the collectivity, for the use of the society outside. So all these details will come in Bhagavad Gita. If you follow all those things, mind will become extremely purified. And Sri Ramakrishna will say, the pure mind itself is Atman. The Atman will reflect through that. Pure mind itself is Atman. No other tapasya is needed. This is what Vivekananda emphasized. This is what Bal Gangadhar Tilak emphasized. This is what Krishna emphasized. All great. I am fond of saying one thing in India. Whenever I address the audiences, there are 2 ways of life. one for grihasthas and one for the sannyasis. The way of life that we have to follow is not same as the way of life that we have to follow. They are a little bit different, but both converging at the same point, both intending or both leading to the same goal. For grihasthas, life itself is tapasya. Jivana itself is tapasya. Jivan hi tapasya hai for grihastha ko. Jivanave tapassu, sannyasigalige tapasya jivana. For sannyasis, tapasya itself is life. So we have no other life, just always doing tapasya, going through holy scriptures or listening to some devotional song, doing meditation, or always praying for the good of the many, for the benefit of the many. Swami Vivekananda, Buddha, Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, you know what is the name of the last chapter? Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. See the beauty of the name. Krishna says, "Oh Arjuna, you must sacrifice even liberation. Even liberation should not be sought by you. It must come to you unasked. You should not aim at mukti. You must not aim at moksha. Then what must you aim at? You must aim at the good of the many and the welfare of the many." Yajna Bhava. In Yajna Bhava you have to live. This Yajna concept has been so beautifully elaborated in Bhagavad Gita. For the benefit of the many, for the welfare of the many, you have to live. As you are living in that spirit, the mukti will come to you unasked. You need not ask for that. You need not aim at that. It will come. Even when mukti comes, you must be in a position to push it aside, to throw it aside, because there is a stage greater than the mukti. And what is that stage? Going beyond mukti. You have to cease to see the difference between the bandhana and mukti. Don't see any difference between good and bad. Don't see any difference between liberation and bondage. Don't see any difference at all. Once you transcend all differences, then it is greater than mukti also. So this is known as vijnana, according to Sri Ramakrishna. You must attain to that state that is beyond mukti. Neither mukti nor bondage is there. Therefore, last yoga, he calls it moksha sannyasa yoga. Reject even moksha also. So, grihastha, if he lives in that spirit, moksha will come unasked. You need not aim at that. So, for sannyasis, we always pray for the good of the many, for the welfare of the many. Lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu. O Lord, please give devotion, bhakti, jnana, vairagya, wisdom, everything for the people around. Let the whole world be happy. Bhadram karne vishnuyama devaha. Lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu. So like that, Indian culture has coined so many beautiful passages. All the four Vedas are full of such passages. We recite both in the morning and evening. We pray the Lord Almighty to confer welfare on the whole mankind, not with any this country, that country, this race or that race, on the whole mankind. If you live in this spirit, then life itself will become tapasya. You need not go to Himalayas exclusively for doing tapasya. Life itself will become tapasya. That lady in Mahabharata, that meat vendor in Mahabharata, both of them lived like that, and they attained to a higher state than even the sannyasi himself. So this is how you can fuse, you can integrate life and spiritual life, spiritual practices and life. You said the changing of attitude will even transform external deformation of a human being, but in practice, it is not that easy. How to strengthen in that? Definitely, it is not easy. I know it is not easy, but nothing great can be achieved easily. Everything will have to be achieved only through struggle. Only struggle will give you everything, and not a cozy life. If you simply fall on bed of roses and wish for things, they never come. Only through struggle things will come. Swami Vivekananda says, struggle itself is life. Only those people that are having struggle in their life, they alone are living. All others are simply existing, they are not living, Vivekananda says. All others are simply existing, they are not living. If at all you want to say whether a person is living or no, say whether he is struggling or no. If he is just merely happy with whatever little that he has around, well, it doesn't deserve to be called as life at all. Vivekananda defines life as the unfoldment and the development of a being under the circumstances tending to press it down. If circumstances are tending to press it down every moment, at every step in your progress, you must still assert yourselves, you must assure your unfoldment, you must assure your development. If you are showing any such signs, you are living. Otherwise, you are simply existing. All those people that simply exist, they are known as masses in Indian culture. Those people that are living, they are class. Anarya and Arya. Anaryan is one who is ever happy with whatever little that he has got. Aryan is the one who is ever consciously trying to achieve the highest goal in his life. He alone is Aryan. That is how they differentiate between. So it is like Aryan, it is how Aryan and Anaryan are differentiated. Not that Aryans have come from outside and Anaryans were Indian native inhabitants, they are all concocted stories. It is not so. Yes, for elaboration of the answer that you have sought from me, you have to follow the method as listed. Does positive attitude goes against the struggle for existence? No, definitely not. Here also you are putting for a lot of struggle. You are not violating the law, asserting yourself in the way that you want to be, and overwhelmingly getting involved in the consciousness of the person that you want to evolve yourself into is definitely, in every sense of the term, a struggle in its truest sense. It is struggle, there is struggle, and therefore there is success too. There is evolution too. There is struggle, definitely there is a lot of struggle. That is what even Darwin also says in a different way. How to be positive towards kids? A sannyasi, how can he have any such experience? If the kid does not do well in school, what is the best way to help them to do good next time, rather than trying them to tell you did not study well and hence you failed? I think you can seek an answer on the email. Please contact me over email. It's getting late. Let me be short in my answers. How does meditation help in changing the attitude towards self? If it does not, what kind of meditation can do? Meditation does help in changing your personality in toto. I am taking one class about meditation in Sanatana Dharma Sabha. Date is yet to be fixed. If you can contact Mr. Pradeep or Mr. Balaji or Mr. Pradeep, if you can leave your email address, all of you may please make it a point to leave your email address with them, so that in case we hold any future meetings, it will be possible, it will be easy for us to contact you and inform you about that. I am taking one meditation class in Sanatana Dharma Sabha shortly, and I am giving a talk about the meaning of Gayatri Mantra also. Both of these classes most probably will be held under the auspices of Sanatana Dharma Sabha. If it is not so, the exact venue will be intimated to you, and the message of Bhagavad Gita, the talk or message of Bhagavad Gita is there, the talk is being given. And in Sahitya Goshti, being a part of Kannada Sangha, it seems, in Sahitya Goshti I am speaking on Upanishadula Sandesha, that is in Kannada, for about 2 hours. That will be followed by 1 hour question answer session. All those people that are Kannada knowing or who can follow Kannada also may attend. So these are all programs that we have got for near future. So that will be easy for you to know about the details. If you can come to Sanatana Dharma Sabha, a whole class will be there exclusively for meditation. Meditation will be explained and a practical demonstration also will be there. Please attend the class. So these 2 questions, the handwriting is not that audible. Is it sufficient to reflect on one's inner self, or is it not necessary to go for deep meditations regularly? Definitely. See, reflecting upon one's own true nature itself is meditation according to Jnana Yoga. There are many types of meditations. According to Ramanujacharya, a great Vaishnava saint from South India, if your mind is full of the glory of Lord, that itself is meditation, truly. If you are pondering upon the glory of Lord, oh, how great Rama is, Krishna is, Shiva is, Radhe, Devi, Hanuman, Veerabhadra, whatever it may be, Christ, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Buddha, how great all these beings have been. If you simply reflect upon the life, various episodes that have passed through their life, the wonderful teachings that they have given, and the wonderful impact they were able to make on mankind even for thousands of years after their departure from the physical existence. If you simply reflect upon them, ponder deeply, that itself is meditation. Meditation in all its classical way, you need not follow. So there are different types of meditation. Again, Sanatana Dharma Sabha will give you all the answers you need. Something is written. Why Sanatana Dharma is being taught in Indian schools? Is not being taught, but that not is missing here. Dharma is being taught in Indian schools and colleges. Indian politicians have not found it necessary to make these subjects something to be studied by Indian students. You know, it is unfortunate that Indian politicians are the most unworthy persons